November 15th. Paul, a brave missionary. Paul was a missionary. He left his own country and went to other places to tell people about Jesus. Most of the people were glad to hear Paul preach. They liked to hear him tell stories of Jesus' love. But others were Paul's enemies and wanted to harm him. After Paul had preached in many countries, he got in a ship and started back to Jerusalem. He knew some of his enemies lived there, but he was not afraid. By and by, the ship stopped at a town where some of Paul's friends lived. Paul left the ship. He went to visit his friends. He told them that he was going to Jerusalem. "Some of your enemies live in Jerusalem," they said. "I'm not afraid," said Paul. "I must go about my work for Jesus." When Paul was visiting his friends, a man came to see him. This man could tell things that were going to happen. In those days, men wore robes. They wore long sashes around their waists. The men took Paul's sash. His friends watched to see what he was going to do with it. Using it like a rope, he tied the sash tightly around his own hands and feet. "This is what Paul's enemies in Jerusalem are going to do to him," he said. "They will tie chains on him and put him in prison." When Paul's friends heard this, they began to cry, "Oh, please, do not go to Jerusalem where your enemies are." "Do not cry," Paul answered. "I am ready to be tied with chains. I do not care what my enemies do to me. I only hope I shall be able to finish my work for Jesus." Sure enough, his enemies there put him in prison. They tied chains about his wrists. But even after he was a prisoner, brave Paul kept telling everyone he saw about Jesus. And that's it for tonight. The end. So sleep sweet and always remember, I love you and God loves you too. Night, night.